Hello everyone, today I am starting a 5-day fast.
Look at her, she's spittin' nerdy. Look at her, she's spittin' nerdy. Can't you see she's spittin' nerdy? Look at her, she's spittin' nerdy.
If you haven't been staying up to date with my Instagram, you might be a little bit concerned for me right now. Because you know, 3-day fasts seem kind of acceptable, but when you get into the 5+ day fasting range, that just seems a little bit crazy and potentially very dangerous. This is why over the course of the next 5 days, I will not be doing a water fast. Instead, I will be following the Fasting Mimicking Diet that was created by Dr. Valter Longo that I talked about in my last video, which I will link in the places. Dr. Valter Longo is one of the people pioneering the research into the benefits of prolonged fasting, especially in conjunction with cancer treatment. He ran a study that showed that a 3-day fast in conjunction with chemotherapy, where chemo was done after day 2 of the fast, made the chemo much more effective at targeting the cancer cells and protecting the healthy cells than just doing chemotherapy without fasting. So that in itself is freaking fascinating, but he also obviously studied all of the other health benefits of doing prolonged fasts, which I have talked about extensively in a few other videos, so I won't bore you by talking about it again. I'll link them down there if you want to check that out. But he also recognized that doing a prolonged fast can be very difficult for people to stick to and also potentially very dangerous, especially if you have any underlying health conditions. So he set out to create a fasting mimicking diet, which is essentially a diet that mimics all of the effects of fasting, but it reduces a lot of the risks because you actually get to eat a fairly significant amount of calories. And this is the diet that I will be doing over the next 5 days. So how it works is you get this box in the mail, and this thing contains everything you need. So it has these 5 boxes inside. Each box corresponds to 1 day, and each box has everything you need for the day. It also comes with like instructions and what to eat per day and what order to eat in, etc. So it's all laid out for you. It requires zero thinking, zero planning ahead, etc. It's just, you just go to your box. I'm gonna share a ton of studies with you down in the description about the benefits and trials, etc. on this. So definitely if you want all of the great sciencey info, I will link a ton of stuff down in the description. If you do want to learn more but don't want to do like a super deep dive and actually read studies, I definitely recommend listening to The Longevity Diet, which is the book that I recommended in my last video. About half of the book is about the fasting mimicking diet and its benefits and the research behind it, and it kind of lays it out in a much more like plain English, easy to understand way. So listen to that book if you want more info, but I'll go through these really quickly with you guys just to give you an overview of the benefits that have been shown to potentially accompany this diet. So in conjunction with prolonged fasting, I talk a lot about autophagy, which is the process of breaking down old damaged cells that happens when your body is looking for nutrients, and then your body proceeds to rebuild those things after you start refeeding it, and so you kind of can regenerate your body. The general consensus is that if you want to maximize autophagy, you should stick with a plain water fast, but that clearly isn't practical or safe for a lot of people, and they were able to show that this fasting mimicking diet that isn't only water and you do get to eat also promotes autophagy. They were able to show that this diet in mice reduced the size of multiple organs and systems, so that would be autophagy at work, getting rid of all of the damaged cells, and then upon refeeding, the number of progenitor and stem cells were elevated. So all of that suggests that autophagy does indeed occur with this diet. This study also showed that bi-monthly fasting mimicking diet cycles in mice, starting around like middle age for a mouse, was able to extend longevity, lower visceral fat, which is the tummy fat, reduce incidence of cancer and skin lesions, rejuvenate the immune system, and slow bone mineral density loss. In older mice, this study showed that fasting mimicking diet cycles promoted neurogenesis in the hippocampus. It lowered IGF-1 levels. I said in my previous video that the IGF-1 pathway is a growth pathway, so if it's constantly stimulated, it could promote cancer. And then in another pilot study with humans, they were actually able to show that doing 3 cycles of the fasting mimicking diet, so once every month, decreased risk factors and biomarkers for aging, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer, and none of the subjects showed any major negative health effects. More specifically, doing the 3 cycles in humans reduced the bad body fat, lowered blood pressure, decreased IGF-1, improved fasting glucose, triglycerides, LDL cholesterol, C-reactive protein, and a ton of other disease-related biomarkers. Now, they are still kind of in the infancy of their research surrounding this diet, so a lot more research is needed to conclusively prove these things, but it's looking very promising and it's super exciting. I know that a lot of you watching my channel are super interested in fasting and even trying out your own prolonged fast, but some of you are held back by the fact that you have to take medications that require food, or you just feel horrible when you don't eat for a few hours, or have some other reason holding you back from trying a water fast. I think doing this is a fantastic alternative. It's much safer, it's much more sustainable, it's much less likely to land you in the hospital for whatever reason, and it still has amazing potential to get you a ton of health benefits. Now, I have not seen a study comparing the effects of the fasting mimicking diet to a water fast, but I do know that the research surrounding the fasting mimicking diet is super promising, super interesting. If by the end of this video you've decided that you actually want to try this out, I did manage to snag you guys a discount code if you want to get 10% off the fasting mimicking diet. My code is Fit and Nerdy. Obviously, I am not recommending this to everyone. There's a whole list of people that should not do this diet somewhere. So if you are thinking about doing it, read the list of who can and can't do it, and if you're on the list of who can't do it, please don't do this diet. As with water fasting, if you have an eating disorder, if you are recovering from an eating disorder, if you are at all prone to any kind of disordered eating habits or any disordered thoughts surrounding food, I highly recommend that you do not do the fasting mimicking diet, you don't do any sort of fasting, and instead just focus on fixing your relationship with food, with your body, with exercise, and with health. Though a small amount of weight loss might be a side effect from this diet, I do not recommend using the fasting mimicking diet as a weight loss tool. I recommend using it purely as a health and longevity promoting tool. Okay, are we good on that? Yeah? I'm hungry. Let's go dig into box one and see what I'm eating today. See what we got. Day one, time for box one. So it comes with a little instruction guide on what comes in each box for each day and what you'll be eating. Just gonna dump this out so that we can see. Oh goodness, that's not the best idea. Okay, well, we're going for it already. Oh, okay. You know, I was thinking this was gonna suck, but that's kind of a decent amount of food. So we have these 2 bars, and then we actually have a bar that has some chocolate. 2 different soup blends, and these get mixed with water, some kale crackers, and some olives, as well as some supplements and some tea. So on the website, it actually has a timeline of what your body is going through on each day of the fast, and for day 1, it says that this food is designed to prime your body to begin the process of cellular optimization. So that's what's happening today. This tea actually smells so good. It's so pepperminty and so lemony. Peppermint is my favorite tea, so I'm a little bit biased toward it. While I'm waiting for that to steep, I figured to do a little taste test of one of the bars, because you know, if this food tastes horrible, I'd kind of rather just do a 3-day water fast. Okay, that's really good. Like, I would straight up go to the store to buy these kind of good. I think I can do this. It is now dinner time. I just cooked up my 2 soups. We have a minestrone soup, a tomato soup, and then I'm also gonna have my crackers right now. I'll do a little taste test, even though this is scalding hot. It's probably, oh my God, you can see the steam. This is gonna burn my mouth. I've never had minestrone soup before, but this is really good. Now, I will admit I'm not the biggest fan of tomato soup in general, so I don't really have high hopes for this, but we'll see how this goes. It smells good. Okay, this is good tomato soup. I've only had 1 tomato soup that I've actually liked. This makes it 2. And the crackers, they taste like healthy crackers. They're good. So I'm gonna go enjoy this, and then I'm saving the other bar and the chocolate bar for dessert. No joke, I was actually so full after the soup and crackers. Like, I thought soup was not gonna be filling, those soups are filling, but I still have a bar, and I have my chocolate bar. This morning I went to the Vans US Open for surfing. I didn't think that there was a sport slower than golf, but I think surfing takes the cake, because you have to wait for the waves, and it's nature. So you could just be sitting there forever, and we were sitting there forever. And be in the sun for a while, but what sucked was passing all of the amazing looking restaurants, being like, oh my God, I want tacos. I can't have tacos. Before I left, I mixed up some magical, mystical little liquid stuff that was in my box for day 2 with the appropriate amount of water, and then I threw in one of the tea bags that was also in the box just to add a little bit more flavor. Took that with me, took some olives with me, and that is all I had until I got back here, and I just had one of the bars, and I'm doing pretty good. I definitely feel a lot better and a lot less hungry right now than I would on the 2nd day of a water fast. Dinner time, I've got my minestrone and quinoa blend soup cooking right behind me here. Pretty soon I'm gonna start my mushroom soup blend and cook that as well. I'm gonna have some olives with it, and then I get dessert again. I can't believe I get to eat chocolate while doing this. Dinner is served. Not gonna lie, when I saw that 2 of the main soups on the menu for the week were tomato and mushroom, I was a little bit concerned, because tomatoes and mushrooms are literally my 2 least favorite foods. But the tomato soup last night was amazing, and this mushroom soup, I was scared to try it. It's good. Like, I actually like it. This is kind of revolutionary. 11 o'clock. Just finished my coffee and I'm hungry. This is not a good sign. Heating up my soup and bringing it to work with me in a swell bottle was probably one of my more ingenious ideas. It was still warm when I had it at, I think I had it like 6 p.m. And I definitely would not have survived all day with just the bar. I got pretty hungry. Having a limited amount of food while you're fasting is kind of a double-edged sword because on one hand, it's much safer. You're getting actual key nutrients while you're fasting. You get to eat, which is great. It includes chocolate, although today there wasn't any chocolate in the box and I'm really sad about it. But on the other hand, if I had been doing just a plain water fast, I would be at a point right now where I would probably not be hungry. It's the end of day 3. I would be full of energy, just going off of my fat burning. Whereas right now, I'm pretty darn hungry and can't wait to get home from work and heat up my soup and have my crackers. But this does clearly feel like it is much, much safer. I have not had a single instance of like dizziness or nausea or anything. I have felt just perfectly healthy, perfectly normal, energetic, just a little bit more hungry than usual. Speaking of hungry, I have about an hour drive home, so I'm gonna get on that so that I can eat my dinner. Good morning, I am hungry. Today I am bringing with me my veggie soup and some olives. One exciting thing that I will say about today is that my bloating is pretty much gone. After I did my week on the carnivore diet, I became so much more sensitized to when I was actually bloated versus just full, because before I thought that the minor bloating that I got after eating was just me being full. Guess not. But this morning, I woke up with nothing extra going on down there. It was pretty nice to not feel that way right now. I'm hungry. End of day 4 is officially when the need for self-control and determination has to kick in, because I want food. I don't care what food, I want food. It's day 5, I get to eat real food tomorrow and I'm very excited about it. Although this morning I woke up a lot less hungry. I really wish I'd had the time and the money to get blood work done before and after doing this, but alas, I work 80 hours a week and I don't have a ton of money to spend on blood tests. But some of the things I can measure are how I feel and also my weight and body fat percentage. As far as how I feel goes, I feel pretty normal. When I do my 3-day fast, I don't usually feel any particular benefits like on the 3rd day before I break my fast. It's usually on the 2nd and 3rd day after I've started refeeding, I get a huge surge of energy. So I'll make sure to update you guys about that in my next video. I haven't experienced any negative symptoms over the last 5 days. On my first 3-day water fast, I got slightly dizzy for a second, and on my second 3-day water fast, I got a little bit nauseous on like the 2nd day. I haven't experienced any of that. I have felt much more stronger and much safer because I've been consuming plenty of nutrients. As far as what the scale says, I've lost about 5 pounds, and according to the scale, I've lost between 2.5 and 3% body fat. Now, the scales that like you stand on to measure your body fat are not the most accurate. They could easily be off by a percentage or 2, but I do feel and look a lot leaner. Like, it's been a while since I've seen fairly defined abs, but like yesterday morning and this morning, I woke up to like really being able to see some amount of definition there, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I wish I had blood markers to share with you guys, but alas, I do not. The most that I can say is that I'm feeling pretty darn great, and I lost 5 pounds, some of which is definitely body fat, but a lot of which may also come from water weight. As far as drawbacks of this diet go, there's nothing in particular that like I felt as far as effects go that I would say are negative, but the one thing that I'm not super enthused about is the fact that the food is obviously not like whole unprocessed foods like I try to eat. Obviously, they have to package it and send it to you because the entire point is to lower the barrier of entry to fasting. For example, the minestrone blend soup, which I'm having tonight, which I'm really excited about because it's delicious, has, you know what, this all is mostly whole unprocessed ingredients. Oh, no, okay, it has soy extract and sunflower oil, which are not inherently bad things. They're just things that like would not be in a soup if you were to make your own soup with whole foods at home. Okay, I'm reading through more of the ingredients now, and there's nothing in these crackers that I object to either. It's literally kale, flax seeds, sunflower seeds, cashews, sesame seeds, nutritional yeast, apple cider vinegar, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, sea salt, onion powder, dill weed, and black pepper. That's all that's in these. Started my day off with half of this bar because it was there and it made me hungry, but I'll come back to that later. You know what? No, I'm gonna finish it right now. I am not the kind of person that can open something and eat half of it and then just put it away. I've got my final meal of the Fasting Mimicking Diet. And that's it for my first trial of the Fasting Mimicking Diet. As far as how it compares to a 3-day water fast, I think they both certainly have their individual challenges and are quite different in terms of what is most challenging, but I do think that if there are any reasons why you can't complete a 3-day water fast, that a fasting mimicking diet is definitely 100% much safer. One thing that I do want to touch on briefly is that this diet does seem super simple. Like, it's just a bunch of soups and bars and stuff, and it seems like you could easily recreate it. I just want to kind of caution against that, because Valter Longo is one of the most esteemed and respected doctors in the field of fasting, and I'm sure every ingredient in this diet was picked with absolute care, and all of the macronutrients are perfectly proportioned, as well as the micronutrients. A lot of people look at this diet and go, oh, it's just a super low protein, low carbohydrate, high fat diet that you do for 5 days. If you just went keto, low calorie for 5 days, I'm pretty sure you would not be guaranteed to get the same results as if you had these specific ingredients and these specific nutrients. The micronutrients of this diet are just as important, and arguably even more important than the macronutrients. Because to optimize the benefits, you need to make sure that you're giving your body exactly what it needs to rebuild itself at the same time that it's breaking itself down through autophagy. Achieving autophagy is the easier part. Refeeding your body in the correct way to optimize benefits is the hard part. This isn't just some low calorie, high fat, 5-day meal plan. It was created for a very specific purpose, and everything was chosen purposefully. That being said, if you can get through a 3-day water fast perfectly fine and feel perfectly healthy throughout it, then the fasting mimicking diet is not something that's going to completely change your life. It might be fun to like change it up if you do a 3-day water fast like every month or every 2 months or something. Just throw this in for fun, see if you feel a difference. But if you can get the benefits from a water fast and don't want to spend the money, feel free to do that. But for the people that cannot complete a water fast for one reason or another, this is a great option. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please do leave them down in the comments below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because it really does support me and my channel, and I really appreciate it. Please share it with all of your friends and your family and your fasting buddies. Please subscribe for more videos and hit the notification button so you don't miss the future videos, and I will see you very soon. Bye.